Georgia O'Keeffe was an American modernist painter who lived from 1886 to 1986. She's best known for her close-up and large flower paintings and her iconic southwestern landscapes. O'Keeffe is considered a groundbreaking figure in the modern art movement, one of the first major abstract modernists who pushed past classical traditions to explore bold color, simplified shapes, and the raw essence of the natural world. She continued painting well into her mid-80s and lived nearly a century, leaving behind a legacy that shaped 20th century art. For today's master study, we're focusing on Mount Pedernal, the legendary flat-topped mountain that sat in the backyard of her home at Ghost Ranch and appeared in countless paintings. This painting, Mount Pedernal, 1936, is a small one with a limited color palette, which will make a really good study. I still remember the first time I visited O'Keeffe country and saw it rising in the distance. I literally got goosebumps. I've been lucky enough to paint at many of her historic locations, and it's such a joy to bring a little bit of that magic to you today. We'll be working on a sheet of watercolor or mixed media paper. The original painting is very small, about 10.1 by 12.1 inches, so I've cut my own paper to 10 by 12 inches to keep the same proportions and maintain the composition. I've included a link in the description box below to the original painting so that you can print it out or pull it up on your tablet or laptop while you're painting. Today I'm painting in acrylic paint, and I'll be using the following colors: titanium white, ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, cadmium red, cadmium yellow, emerald green, and I did use a little Davies green, but if you don't have it, it's not important. I'm also using matte medium as a flow enhancer and to mix my colors. And I also wanted to let you know that if you didn't have the emerald green, you could probably get away with phthalo green. I started out with a light pencil drawing on my paper, but this is a very simple composition, so please don't beat yourself up about having everything absolutely perfect, because I want you to enjoy the process of painting, get into your color mixing, and really enjoy the process. That's the most important thing. Master's studies teach us so much about just about the composition and the colors. So here I'm mixing up a lot of the ultramarine blue with a lot of white, and I'm using a lot of the matte medium, which is in the center, and the matte medium really adds a lot of flow. So I'm getting right into the mountain right away, and the majority of it is this blue, but I'm going into the places that have the most blue first. And the matte medium really does help make the paint flow better, and it really helps it apply to the paper better. And even though acrylic paint is water soluble, you don't want to use water to promote flow because it actually can degrade the paint. And a lot of times people don't realize with acrylic that you're really supposed to be using medium. If you put too high a water to paint ratio into the acrylic paint, you can actually degrade the paint, and it can do things like crack off a canvas or a wooden panel, and it's just really not the way that you're supposed to loosen the paint. So medium is really what you're supposed to be using. I used to work for a paint company, so I used to work for Grumbacher, which is a really well-known acrylic paint company. So I'm just now going into some of the green areas, and I'm using the emerald green. I put a little bit of the Davies in. If you don't have Davies green, it's not a big deal. It's just like a paler, more transparent kind of a green color, but I'm getting a lot of that pale transparency by adding in the white and the medium. So you really don't need it. And I'm going into some of those green areas, which you'll see when you do your printout or you're looking at a bigger version of the picture that we're working from. And I want to get those established before I paint in any more of my blue areas. And I'm going to do the same thing with the kind of orangey red areas that we have on the mountain as well. I'm going to get all that stuff put in where it belongs before I proceed with the rest of the blue, because I don't want any colors to bleed onto each other, because if anything, O'Keeffe had very clean colors. And so I've been out there a bunch of times, and I've been to both of her houses, and one of her houses is like a museum, and you can take this wonderful tour of her home and studio in the Abiquiu village. So, and one of those times I had a wonderful docent who was explaining that one of the reasons that she got such amazing color was that she literally had separate brushes for every color. So she had blue brushes and red brushes and, green brushes. So every single color had a dedicated set of brushes. And that makes so much sense because if you've seen her, and I've seen so many of her paintings, her colors are so vibrant. So the first time I went out, I was teaching artists at a big museum in Connecticut, and so we were having a big retrospective of her work, and I was teaching a class in conjunction with this retrospective, and so it was really exciting that I was able to actually go out there and paint and go to some of her painting locations and things. And so that was one of the things that I learned. And I had met a whole bunch of people that, she didn't die all that long ago. She only died in the 80s. So there was a lot of people who had worked with her and, being able to go to her home. And it was just really amazing. And going out to the locations and seeing these places that she painted was very exciting. Being such a fan of the work and then actually seeing these places. So see, here what I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm taking the orange and the blue and I'm creating kind of a desaturated color, more orange than blue, but it's more of a gray now because I'm taking those two complementary colors and mixing them together. And that's how we can create interesting, beautiful neutrals. So like when you put those two complementary colors next to each other, they vibrate and they look really dynamic. But when we mix them, they create really beautiful neutrals when we do them intentionally. So that's what I did there. I took the orangey red, that's the cadmium red, and I mixed it with the ultramarine blue, and it created, and I used more of the cadmium than I did the blue, and then up in the tippity top there I created a really beautiful neutral gray. And there's a couple other places where that I could see that color in the original master painting. So I'm using that gray or grayed down version of the cadmium in a few different places where I saw it in the original painting. So that's what I did. And that's a way to desaturate colors. So if a color is too intense, you could add the complementary color into it, and it kind of brings down the chroma a little bit. And that's just a painting tip. There's a lot of areas of color within the blue of this mountain, and so once I get all of those areas laid in, then I'm going to go back in with the blue and just kind of blend everything in and look at the shapes. So that's what I'm starting to do now, is I'm looking at I look at everything as a shape anyway, but now I'm looking at all the shapes of the green shapes, the blue shapes, and that's how I kind of go about it. I look at everything as a shape. So now if I put too much green or too much orange or whatever, I'm looking at the shape and I'm straightening those shapes out by adding the blue. And blue and green, the only thing I have to be really careful about is I don't want to touch the orange with the blue, because like we just talked about, those are complementary colors, and it will muddy things up a bit if I start going into the orangey areas with the blue, because that will turn it into more of a neutral color, and we don't want that to happen by accident. When we do it intentionally and we're creating neutrals on purpose, we're creating a neutral, but when we do it by accident, we can actually create the dreaded mud that everybody talks about, and we try to avoid doing that. You really have to kind of look at the original painting and work with the colors. I mean, this is a very limited color palette, so it's kind of a really fun one to explore and see how the colors were mixed. And since it is acrylic, if you really mess up, don't freak out. Just dry it with a blow dryer, paint over it with either some gesso or the titanium white, and start again. You never have to worry with acrylic paint because it is so easy to fix, and just have another go at it. Don't even freak out. So for the sky, I am using cerulean blue, which is a much cooler blue. So ultramarine blue is a very, very warm blue. It is the one closest to red on the color wheel. This one is a very cool blue, much closer to green on the color wheel. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to mix up a kind of a big amount with a lot of white again, and I'm using a lot of medium, okay? And I'm looking at I think I might have even done a very light sketch line to see how far down the darkest part of the sky went, okay? And then it gets very, very light down toward the horizon, okay? So it really did, the sky really did have kind of a shape to it. Like the darkest part was up toward the top, and then it kind of got gradually lighter down toward where the mountain and the horizon line was. So what I'm doing here is I just keep adding more white in, and then as I get closer down, I'm adding gradually more and more white and more medium. Okay, because the medium is just, it's clear and it dries clear, and it's exactly the same as the paint, so it's going to really help the flow. And you want a little bit of the blue, but because you don't want that to be pure white, but it's got to be very light, a very, very light value. So I think I'm just mostly spreading it, and then I'm going to get my brush strokes going all in the same direction. The whole thing is really very wet right now, and that's the other thing I really like about working with the medium, because otherwise acrylic paint just dries really fast, And once it's really stiff, it's very difficult to work with. So if you haven't used mediums before, there's a whole bunch of different ones. I mean, I really like matte medium, which is it's very versatile. You can put down collage with it. You can use it the way I'm using it to mix the paint, etc. There's also stuff called open medium, which just gives you more working time, but you can't use that for collage or anything like that. There's something called flow enhancer, which also gives a little bit more open time. It's a different kind. There's a whole bunch of different ones you can try. But this is probably my favorite one. And Liquitex mediums are always my very favorite ones. And I did link in the description box to the things I used today as far as materials. It's always so satisfying to pull the tape off at the very end. It's the best part. To take off the tape, and then you got those really nice clean edges at the end.